Hello. So, once upon a time. Really? Really? Interesting. I wonder if that has anything to do with me not being on for a while. I don't know. Or not consistently. That's true. Fair. No. So I was at the store at H-E-B. And, I was in there. And so my mom and I were talking about stuff we needed, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get some stuff from me and my sister specifically. I said, so let me go get that stuff real quick. I said, do you want me to? Or I said, do you want me to stay with you? And then it was that whole thing, and then she was like, fine, go ahead and go do what you're gonna do. So, first I went to go get cereal. And so one side of it is blocked off by another aisle, and so I had to go around. And there's that first guy there. And so I was like, excuse me, I'm sorry. So then I looked, and what I was looking for wasn't there. Then I was like, no, you must have missed it. So I have to go back a second time to double check myself. Then the third time I go back to that exact same aisle after the whole formal, excuse me. The third time I go there, and I was like, I know, I'm so sorry, because he was like, oh, you're back again, and I'm like, I know, I'm so sorry. I was like, I said, I'm having a hard time making a decision right now. And he was like, oh no, girl, it's okay, you look good. And he was just like, I was like, okay. I wasn't even looking at him. I wasn't even looking at him. I didn't even look or make eye contact with him even once. So I have no idea how that would have... I literally look down at the ground and walk forward and say, excuse me. And I literally, the third time, I literally waved my hands and I was like, I'm sorry. And I'm looking down at the ground. I don't know. But I was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, I'm not trying to be here. And then it was like, he said it like, he was like, at first he said, oh no, it's all right, pause. But you look good doing it. And I was like, and I didn't know how to respond. So I just kept walking really fast. It was like a second. But it was like enough that you knew it was a pause. It was like you knew it was a pause. It was like, nah, it's okay. But you look good, dude. Like, literally that much of a pause. Like, you knew it was a pause, but nothing special. I don't know. So then, the second one was, I went to the candy aisle to go grab something for my dad. And I didn't even... This person I had already seen them looking at me a few times, so I kind of just avoided them and didn't look at them. And so I went to the candy aisle and they were right there. And it was a worker there, but younger dude. But he was looking right at me and he was like, can I help you? And I was like, no. And he was like, oh, let me help you. That was exactly Literally, I said no. I said, no. I know what I'm looking for. I'm pretty sure it's not here. Y'all don't normally have it. I said, I'm just double checking. Well, why don't you tell me what it is and I can help you look for it? It's this and this and this. And it's not there. I'm telling you right now. I said, I'm just checking because I just always double check. And he was like, oh. And he didn't even help me find it. I found it faster than he found it. I was like, I know where it is. I said, I just know it's most likely not there. But so then I'm like walking away because I'm like, okay, I'm going now. So I'm walking away out of the aisle. I'm like, okay, I said, thank you for helping. I said, it's not there. And so I just start walking, and this other dude who's helping the other guy walks up. And so I say, excuse me, because he's like standing a little bit in front of me, so I'm trying to get behind him and around. And so I'm all like, excuse me, and they're all like, both at the same time, oh, you're good. Like a really long way of saying it, too. I was like, anyways. And then, I don't know, that was like, I don't know. I don't know, but I was like, and I don't know. I didn't know what to do. And then I started like having a small panic attack. Bad. Bad. Out of 10, it was like a 0 out of 10, would not recommend. But, yeah, I was just like, okay. But then there were a few other people staring, but that's not as bad as when they talk to you. It's fine if they stare, it's not fine if they talk to you. They're not unattractive. It was just like not anything. I'm not looking for anything. It was just like none of them were striking or anything like that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just not I'm not into people talking to me. I'm just trying to grocery shop. If I need your help, I'll ask for it. Not the let me help you. No, don't help me. If I want your help, I'll ask for it. What kind of form? Oh my god. It's your resume. Hello. But yeah, that was stupid. I was just like, I went to the hair aisle and I kind of just sat there for a minute, kind of zoning out for a minute. I was like, what just happened? Because literally in Michigan, no one, I'm not even kidding, no one even looked for a second. So it was like very getting back used to it. I was like I realized I haven't been out of the house other than to eat with my family, and I didn't even realize how it was gonna be. I don't know. But yeah, it was rough. Yeah. Michigan, I would say, is like the safest place probably so far that I've ever been to with like a female just being out. like it was just very different. I think so, yeah. Yep. Yeah. But yeah, that was a lot more than I remembered. I was like, oh. I was like, I don't remember it being like this. And I'm in the ghetto too. So it's like, if someone's flirting with you, something can happen. So you have to be even more careful. Because if you straight up reject them, something happens. If you flirt back, something could happen. If you react, something could happen. If you ignore them, something could happen. People, well, literally. Yes. You literally have to go through 3 different scenarios in your head of how you're going to do this if, even, for example, let's say you leave your shopping bag, your purse in the cart or something. You have to plan one of 3 ways you're going to react if someone decides to steal your purse in passing and you miss it by a second. Yes. But yeah. But yeah, being flabbergasted seems to work okay so far. I guess, I don't know. There was this other dude, but I wasn't sure if it was at me or not. Because it might not have been, but I wasn't really sure. But it was like, he yelled hey or something like that. And it was like, there wasn't really anyone else in the aisle and no one else looked up. So I was like, talking to me? I was like, I don't know. Yeah, intimidate him. I never told you about that. So one time, I was at my Mima's nursing home before she passed away. And so, I was there, hanging out with my Mima, and I was laughing at something she said. She was being silly. She was going senile, but she was being silly. And so we were all laughing, and she was pretending to eat her food and then hide it in front of us. She'd be like, pretending like she ate it and make it disappear. So that way she didn't have to eat it. And so we laughed, and so this woman calls me over. She's like, hey, come here, honey. And she starts being really nice to me, and she's all holding my hand, and she's like, oh, how old are you? Tell me some things about you. And then she grabs my hand, like, tighter, and she starts insulting me, and, like, calling me names, and saying how I was the most insulting thing she ever saw. I did tell you? Oh my gosh, I couldn't remember. But yeah, that was fun. And then I remember walking away crying, and my Momo, she was all like, yeah. She was interesting. But I remember I walked away and I was crying, and my Momo was like, what happened? I was like, she just said all these things, and she was like, oh, honey, she said, don't listen to these people, they're crazy here. I was like, okay. I don't know why that made me feel a little bit better, but she was like, you can't believe anything any of them say. She said they don't even know their own names. I thought that was funny. But I still think about that day sometimes. I don't know. I mean, I guess I could envision how it looked like we were making fun of her. But the specifically calling me over was what confused me a little bit. I was like, why me? I don't know. Like, it was just kind of random. Sorry. You good now? Ah. Got it, got it. Well, I wasn't making fun of my Mimo, so it was like weird. I was like, am I? I was literally having an existential crisis in that moment. I was like, who am I? What am I? What is the meaning of life? It was like all in that moment, and I was just like so thrown off. But I don't know. Yeah, she was funny like that. She had a lot of little things like that she would do. She was goofy. But then you would find her novels in her room that we did not give her. Those were always hilarious. Because I remember I would go in there to her room and we would go to brush her hair. We would go in there to read books with her. So I go in there to pick one up. And I come across it and my mom walks in and she's like, wait a minute. She's like, I need to make sure what that is. So she was like, you're not reading this one. It's like, oh. I didn't know at the time, but it was funny. Oh my gosh. I don't even understand how that's attractive. I don't know. The hooves thing going on, I don't know. Well, there's better than that. There's got to be. Like the grasshopper from A Bug's Life? Or the locust? Mm-hmm. What? Sorry. Magically pregnant is an interesting phrase. That's awesome. Ew. Ew. That's nasty. Why does that sound familiar, though? I don't know. I feel like I've heard that in some way, but I don't know. Oh my god. I did. Right. I'm so sorry. I don't remember anything. I don't remember anything. It's been a rough day. I'm sorry. But yeah. I don't know. I got candy and that's good, and I got that's about I didn't like the rest of the day. That was not a good end to my day. Out. Yeah, everything's a bit expensive right now. And it's, like, sparse. From the grocery store, I mean. That's good. The grocery store part was the one that sucked. That's what sucked so much. Why? Well, you know what? There was one nice lady. She was just walking up on her phone talking to somebody. And she was like, oh, I'm at the hair products aisle, but I'm looking for skincare, but I think I'm too late. And then she, like, turned around after she saw me the first time, and she was like, girl, you're so pretty. And I was like, oh, thank you. I was like, your hair is beautiful. And she was like, thank you. So that was nice. But it was like, the rest of it sucked. That's how you should. I mean, that's how you should for a girl to a girl. It would be weird if you make it formal when you're all like, girl, the way you look, it made me do a double take. You're stunning, baby girl. Like, like it's not like they're gonna go about it like that. I'd rather it be more casual and out of nowhere than the... Above adequate is wild. But I like the older women when they're like, oh, baby. Like, it's like, the way they say it, it's so pretty, too. And I'm like, me? My, yeah. And he's like, you just want to be like that? I don't know. I remember that friend that I always tell you about that passed away. She would always say things like that. She was like, oh, baby. And it was so cute. Candy. I don't know, but it's like, it's so calming and soothing the way they say it. Mm-hmm. But I feel like I'm going way too much on that. I'm so sorry about that. And you know what? I was gonna make something with oatmeal yesterday. And then when you said that, I changed my mind. You convinced me. But I was gonna make some apple brown sugar cinnamon oatmeal. Uh-huh. Oh. Mm-mm. Not what was in the bowl beforehand, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know why that kind of reminds me of a conversation we had with my mom yesterday. She was trying this new recipe that apparently her and my dad love. So we haven't had it yet. So she made it last night. And she gave it to us, and me and my sister both kind of looked at each other when we tried it. Because it didn't taste right. I don't know how to explain it. But it was like chicken throw up. And I felt bad. Well, you know what? It was probably because I threw up. It probably was going to bother me or something. And my sister was there when I smelled the vomit in the room. So I'm sure that could have thrown her off too, but my mom, she was all like, so do y'all like it? Oh, I hate that. I hate that. Ugh. That's terrible. Well, so my mom asked me, she's like, so y'all like it? And me and my sister just look at each other, and I'm like, I'm sorry. I was like, this doesn't taste right. I was like, maybe I'm just not feeling well. I said, but this doesn't taste right. And she's like, something's wrong with you. She said, because your dad and I love it. I was like, okay. So then she goes to my sister. She's like, so... I know. It must be a parent thing. I don't know. And so then she looks at my sister, and she's like, so do you like it? And my sister looks at me. She's like, I didn't like it either. And my mom's like, I don't know what's wrong with y'all, but your dad and I have been enjoying this for weeks now. So I don't know what y'all's problem is. But it's okay. Let me turn off my fan real quick. It's blowing in my hair. But, you know, that was fun. How dare you give your actual personal opinion? How dare you not lie and tell me how wonderful it was when I asked for your opinion? You know what? That's fair. That's fair. Maybe it's an only child thing. Is your mom an only child or no? Or does she have siblings? Because I know. Oh my god. That's even crazier. And she's got like a hypercritical family, right? Hypercritical parents. That makes it even crazier. Oh, okay. Mm. Oh, okay. But I got this blackberry lemonade thing. It's pretty good. I just had it with candy like an idiot, so I'm getting sick. Let's see. I have these, and I've already eaten at least 6 of them. Probably stress. Well, my dad took 2, so maybe like, I know. I got these. Yeah. And then I have these. These are good. So good with a bunch of water. When you have a bunch of water with all that candy, it's so good. It's like the most it's the most refreshing trash you've ever had. But the encounters at the store really stress me out. I don't know. It makes me feel better. I used to just eat bags of sweets on top of bags of sweets, and I never drank water with it. I literally would have soda after too. It was trash. But just having like maybe a bag of candy at most, and with a bunch of water and everything, it feels really nice. I get pretty bad headaches, but I don't know if that's what you're describing. And I'll get pain all around here. Oh my god! Where did you get 23? Where did you get 23? Oh my god, no. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's insane. Was it really saving your life or ruining your death? Okay? That's a complicated situation. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Ugh. No, but I already feel like trash and I haven't even had that much. Having a stroke doesn't sound fun. Okay, but I'm literally that way though. If I have too much sugar and I start acting out, I act literally crazy and stupid. And my sister, she'll be like, "Are you okay?" She's like, "You're not acting like yourself." I feel so bad. I'm like, I'm pretty weird for a couple of hours. And I laugh non-stop. Like, non-stop laughing and giggling at nothing. And I'm just like, like, I don't know. I don't know. But it's rough. What are you talking about? Badges in my hair. You're gonna have to explain that. I have to think about it. I don't remember. I don't remember right now, but my sister... Yeah, it would have been a while ago, because... Yeah. It's been a while since I've been like that, because I don't eat candy like I used to, or sweets like I used to, so... And I get too sick. But you'll see me karate chopping stuff. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Yes. I do remember. I remember it now. But yeah, that was one instance of it, but I don't know the air. I don't know. Yeah. Interesting. That makes sense. I'm so tired. What do you mean? Oh, I don't know. We'll see, we'll see. Do you want me to read the last 2 chapters of my Mortal? I actually use a lot of coconut and natural cane sugar, and those specifically I will use a lot of in the desserts I make. Because I make more desserts than I actually eat candy now. So a lot of it's more homemade all the time. Let me get it pulled up though. Oh my god, I'm not gonna be able to pull it up. Can you send it to me? I'm so sorry. Oh, hi Mocap, how are you doing? Okay, thank you. Did I ask how you're doing? I'm so sorry. I'm off. Okay. So you said 2 chapters left? We got all the way to 9? Really? Oh, wait, no, we're past 9. We might be on 10. Wait, no. Oh. You're right, you're right. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna have to remember the voice I did for her. That's the problem. Like. Mm-hmm. What voice did I do for her? It was like. Wait, let me think. It was really scary. I was. Oh my gosh, what voice did I do for them? Mm-hmm. me think. I don't know. I don't think I did. Let me pull it up. Okay, I think I have it. Oh, I'm terrified. I was really scared about Voldemort all day. Was that it? That sound about right? Okay. I was even upset. Went to rehearsals with my gothic metal band, Bloody Gothic Rose 666. I'm gonna mess this up. Let's just be clear. This is not quality reading. This is trash. I am the lead singer of it, and I play guitar. People say that we sound like a cross between GC, Slipknot, and MCR. The other people in the band are Bloody Mary, Vampire, Draco, Ron, although we call him Diabolo. Diabolo! What the? Diabolo. What? Hurry up. Mm-hmm. My God. Okay. So no reason. He has black hair now, with blue streaks in it. And Hagrid. Only today, Draco and Vampire were depressed, so they weren't coming, and we wrote songs instead. I knew Draco was probably slitting his wrists. He wouldn't die because he was a vampire too, and the only way you can kill a vampire is with a CROSS. There's no way I'm writing that. Or steak. She spelled it so wrong. These typos are hilarious. And Vampire was probably watching a depressing movie like The Corpse Bride. I put on a black leather shirt that showed off my... Let me go over that one more time. I put on a black leather shirt that showed off my boobs and tiny matching miniskirt that said Simple Plan on the butt. You might think I'm a slut, but I'm really not. We were singing a cover of Helena, and at the end of the song, I suddenly burst into tears. Ebony, are you okay? Bloody Mary asked in a concerted voice. What the do you think? I asked angrily, and then I said, well, Voldemort came, and the bleep bleep told me to bleep. Kill Harry, but I don't want to kill him because he's really nice, even if he did go out with Draco. But if I don't kill Harry, then Voldemort will kill Draco. I burst into tears. Suddenly, Draco jumped out from behind a wall. Why? I have to think. Oh my God. Why? Oh my God. Why didn't you tell Why didn't you tell me? He shouted. How could you poser? I can't say all that. See, is that out of character? I don't even know half of what she's saying on some of this. I'm like, what? I'm like, these are words? Oh my gosh. I started to cry and cry. Draco started to cry too, all sensitive. Then he ran out crying. We practiced for 1 more hour. Then suddenly Dumbledore walked in angrily. His eyes were all fiery. And I knew this time it wasn't 'cause he had a headache. What have you done? He started to cry wisely. See, that's basically not swearing, and this time he was really upset. You will see why. Ebony, Draco has been found in his room. He committed suicide by slitting his wrists. Oh my god. What did you send me? No! I screamed. I was horrified. Bloody Mary tried to comfort me, but I told her to bleep off, and I ran to my room crying myself. Yes. Oh my gosh. Dumbledore chased after me shouting, but he had to stop when I went into my room because he would look like a perv that way. Anyways, I started crying tears of blood, and then I slit both of my wrists. They got all over my clothes, so I took them off and jumped into the bath angrily while I put on a Linkin Park song at full volume. I grabbed a stake and almost stuck it into my heart to commit suicide. I was so depressed. I got out of the tub and put on a black low-cut dress with lace all over it, sandly. I think she meant sadly. Sandly is what we're sticking with, though. I put on black high heels with pink metal stuff on the ends and 6 pairs of skull earrings. I couldn't believe it. Then I looked out the window and screamed. Snap was spying on me, and he was taking a videotape of me. Oh my god, I did not read it. What did you say to me? And Lupin was with it. They were sitting on... I know. They were sitting on their broomsticks. Ew, you pervs. Stop looking at me naked. Are you pedos or what? I started putting on a black towel with a picture of Marilyn Manson on it. Suddenly, Vampire ran in. Abracadabra, he yelled at Snape and Lupin, pointing his boom. Does she mean wand? I don't understand this girl at all. I mean, it's awesome. That's what it feels like. I took my gun and shot Snape and Lupin a gazillion times, and then they both started screaming and the camera broke. Suddenly, Dumbledore ran in. Ebony, it has been revealed that someone has... No! He shouted, looking at Snape and Lupin. Then he waved his wand, and suddenly, Hagrid ran outside on his broom and said, Everyone, we need to talk. I'm so confused. She keeps switching perspectives and it makes no sense who's doing what. What do you know, Hagrid? You're just a little Hogwarts student. I may be a Hogwarts student. Hagrid paused angrily. But I'm also a Satanist. This cannot be, Snap said in a crisp voice, as blood dripped from his wand where Dumbledore's wand had shot him. There must be other factors. You don't have any, I yelled in madly. Lupin held up the camera, triumphantly. Triumphantly. The lens may be ruined, but the tape is still there. I felt faint. More than I normally do, like how it feels when you do not drink enough blood. What are you doing here? Lupin said angrily. while he rubbed his dirty hands on his cloak. And then I heard the words that I had heard before, but not from him. I did not know whether to feel shocked and happy, or to bite him and drink his blood because I felt faint. Because, Hagrid said, and he paused in the air dramatically, waving his wand. Oh my god, are you for real? Oh my gosh. That's insane. I knew it was too good to be true. Waving his wand in the air. Then swooped he in, singing to the tune of a gothic version of a song by 50 Cent. Because you're gothic? Snap asked in a little afraid voice, because he was afraid it meant he was connected with Satan. Because I love her. The end for that. Thank you. Thank you for nothing. I could not get into the voice for that. There was too many crazy words in there. That threw me off. Yeah, I can't do 44 of that. Oh my god. Such a weird story. Let me go look at my books real quick. Maybe I have something we can read. I have no idea when we're going to start that. I don't even know what to write. We need to have a concept first. We could read, kind of a thought, we could read The Little Mermaid. We could read The Princess on the Pea. We could read Thumbelina. I think I read The Wicked Prince. The Nightingale is such a... Wait, is it that one or is it another one? I think it's The Nightingale. Wait, no, maybe not. There's The Ugly Duckling. There's The Snow Queen. The Snow Queen is a good one. Yeah, I thought you might like that one. Let me look up what page it's on. Thumbelina is on 19. So let me... Alright. Let's do Thumbelina. So. Thumbelina, written in 1835. There once was a woman who wanted so very much to have a tiny little child. But she did not know where to find one. So she went to an old witch, and she said, "I have my heart set upon having a tiny little child. Please, could you tell me where I can find one?" "Why, that's easily done," said the witch. "Here's a grain of barley for you, but it isn't at all the sort of barley that farmers grow in their fields, or that the chickens get to eat. Put it in a flower pot, and you'll see what you shall see." "Oh, thank you," the woman said. She gave the witch 12 pennies, and planted the barley seed as soon as she got home. It quickly grew into a fine, large flower, which looked very much like a tulip. But the petals were folded tight, as though it were still a bud. "This is such a pretty flower," said the woman. She kissed its lovely red and yellow petals, and just as she kissed it, the flower gave a loud pop, and it flew open. It was a tulip, right enough, but on the green cushion in the middle of it sat a tiny girl. She was dainty and fair to see, but she was no taller than your thumb, so she was called Thumbelina. I know, right? For a living being. You know? It's hilarious. I don't know. These stories are just so interesting. I don't know. A nicely polished walnut shell served as her cradle. Her mattress was made of the blue petals of violets, and a rose petal was pulled up to cover her. That was how she slept at night. In the daytime, she played on a table where the woman put a plate surrounded with a wreath of flowers. Their stems lay in the water, on which there floated a large tulip petal. Thumbelina used the petal as a boat, and with a pair of white horsehairs for oars, she could row clear across the plate, a charming sight. She could sing, too. Her voice was the softest and sweetest that anyone ever has heard. One night, as she lay in her cradle, a horrible toad hopped in through the window. One of the panes was broken. It's not a horrible idea. If you write that down and you bring it up later, maybe we can take something from that. This big, ugly, slimy toad jumped right down on the table where Thumbelina was asleep under the red rose petal. "Here's a perfect wife for my son," the toad exclaimed. She seized upon the walnut shell in which Thumbelina lay asleep and hopped off with it, out the window and into the garden. A big broad stream ran through it, with a muddy marsh along its banks, and here the toad lived with her son. Ugh! He was just like his mother, slimy and horrible. I don't know if I can do a frog sound. Like, yeet! Like, does that count? I don't think that's exactly my thing. Like, yeah. Literally. Oh. She's a blossoming young embryo. I don't know. Like, I don't know a frog sound though, like ribbit. She shouldn't be, well, maybe they're saying a lot of time has passed because they're saying she played and she slept, and it's like a past tense kind of thing. It's like a routine kind of thing. So maybe more time has passed than they imply. Also, let me see. Ribbit. Like, no one speaks. Ribbit. Don't speak. I don't think that's gonna work. I can't keep up with that. Don't speak so loud. I sound like... Do you know Ray Romano? From Everybody Loves Raymond. That's who I sound like. I feel like that's who I sound like right now. Or the guy who copies him, who's his, like, twin in some way, but it's like his cousin. Let me see. Okay. Quacks. It clicks. What's he saying? Was all he could say when he saw the graceful little girl in the walnut shell. What's a womanly version of it? Ribbit. I'm trying. Like, I keep thinking of the Disney one, where it's the kind of like, what's her name? She reminds me of what's her name from, She's Colombian, and she's really pretty. She's well endowed. Um, um, oh my god, I know her name. Sofia Vergara. Good lord, how could I not remember that? Now that's shameful. Like, that's who she reminds me of, is Sofia Vergara. When I hear her in the movie, in the cartoon. And she's all like, don't speak so loud. And she's like, I feel like I can't do that well, but... And she speaks Spanish throughout the whole thing. Yeah. I just don't know if I can do that. Like, I don't know if it goes with what is happening. Exactly. And it's all like, don't speak so loud, or you will wake her. The old toad told him. Except the thing is, she's an old toad. She wasn't old in the cartoon. So I don't know. I'm like, how do you say it? Like, do I be an old lady? Like, she might get away from us yet. Like, They really did. They really did. I'm so lost. But, like, when I read this part, like, I can just hear it with the accent. So, like, for she is as light as a puff of swan's down. Like, I'm like, that's what I hear when I, like, I don't think, for she is as light as a puff of swan's down. Yeah. Light as a puff. Like, I don't know, that's what I hear. Like, I don't know. I feel so goofy. All these different voices is making me... Okay. Wait. So, don't or do? I don't know. Just, as we go along, try and help me make up voices as we go, because I have no idea. And I will forget the voices. Oh, okay. We must put her on one of the broad water lily leaves out on the stream. Oh my god, I feel so stupid. I just want to hide my face. Oh. We're never getting out of here alive. Yes. It's been a rough day, okay? Okay. She's so small and light that it would be just like an island to her. And she can't run away from us while we are making our best room under the mud ready for you two to live in. Many water lilies with broad green leaves grew in the stream, and it looked as if they were floating on the surface. The leaf that lay furthest from the bank was the largest of them all, and it was to this leaf that the old toad swam with the walnut shell that held Thumbelina. The poor little thing woke up early next morning, and when she saw where she was, she began to cry bitterly. There was water all around the big green leaf, and there was no way at all for her to reach the shore. The old toad sat in the mud, decorating a room with green rushes and yellow water lilies, to have it looking its best for her new daughter-in-law. Then she and her ugly son swam out to the leaf on which carry to the bridal chamber before they took her there. Oh, I'm so sorry. On which Thumbelina was standing. They came for her pretty little bed, which they wanted to carry to the bridal chamber before they took her there. The old toad curtsied deeply in the water before her and said, "Meet my son. He is to be your husband, and you will share a delightful home in the mud." That's hilarious. Alright. Grex. Brick icky kicks. Was all that her son could say. Then they took the pretty little bed and swam away with it. Left all alone on the green leaf, Thumbelina sat down and cried. She did not want to live in the slimy toad's house, and she didn't want to have the toad's horrible son for her husband. Oh my gosh. The little fishes who swam in the water beneath her had seen the toad and heard what she had said. So up popped their heads to have a look at the little girl. No sooner they had seen her than they felt very sorry that anyone so pretty should have to go down to live with that hideous toad. No, that should never be. They gathered around the green stem that held the leaf where she was, and gnawed it in two with their teeth. Away went the leaf down the stream, and away went Thumbelina, far away where the toad could not catch her. Thumbelina sailed past many a place, and when the little birds in the bushes saw her, they sang, "What a darling little girl." The leaf drifted further and further away with her, and so it was that Thumbelina became a traveler. A lovely white butterfly kept fluttering around her, and at last alighted on the leaf, because he admired Thumbelina. She was a happy little girl again, now that the toad could not catch her. It was all very lovely as she floated along, and where the sun struck the water, it looked like shining gold. Thumbelina undid her sash, tied one end of it to the butterfly, and made the other end fast to the leaf. It went much faster now, and Thumbelina went much faster too, for of course she was standing on it. Just then, a big May-bug flew by and caught sight of her. Immediately he fastened his claws around her slender waist, and flew with her up into a tree. Away went the green leaf down the stream, and away went the butterfly with it, for he was tied to the leaf and could not get loose. My goodness, how frightened little Thumbelina was when the May-bug carried her up in the tree. But she was even more sorry for the nice white butterfly she had fastened to the leaf, because if he couldn't free himself, he would have to starve to death. But the May-bug wasn't one to care about that. He sat her down on the largest green leaf of the tree, fed her honey from the flowers, and told her how pretty she was, considering that she didn't look the least like a May-bug. After a while, all the other May-bugs who lived in the tree came to pay them a call. As they stared at Thumbelina, the lady May-bugs threw up their feelers and said, "Why, she has only 2 legs. What a miserable sight!" "She hasn't any feelers," one cried. "She is pinched in at the waist. How shameful! She looks like a human being. How ugly she is," said all of the female May-bugs. Yet Thumbelina was as pretty as ever. Even the May-bug who had flown away with her knew that. But as every last one of them kept calling her ugly, he at length came to agree with them, and would have nothing to do with her. She could go wherever she chose. They flew down out of the tree with her and left her on a daisy, where she sat and cried because she was so ugly that the May-bugs wouldn't have anything to do with her. Nevertheless, she was the loveliest little girl you can imagine, and as frail and fine as the petal of a rose. All summer long, poor Thumbelina lived all alone in the woods. She wove herself a hammock of grass, and hung it under a big burdock leaf to keep off the rain. She took honey from the flowers for food, and drank the dew that she found on the leaves every morning in this way. Oh, every morning. In this way, the summer and fall went by. Then came the winter, the long, cold winter. All the birds who had sung so sweetly for her flew away. The trees and the flowers withered. The big burdock leaf under which she had lived shriveled up until nothing was left of it but a dry yellow stalk. She was terribly cold, for her clothes had worn threadbare and she herself was so slender and frail. Poor Thumbelina, she would freeze to death. Snow began to fall, and every time a snowflake struck her, it was as if she had been hit by a whole shovelful. For we are quite tall, while she measured only an inch. She wrapped a withered leaf about her, but there was no warmth in it. She shivered with cold. Near the edge of the woods where she now had arrived was a large grain field, but the grain had been harvested long ago. Only the dry, bare stubble stuck out of the frozen ground. It was just as if she were lost in a vast forest, and oh, how she shivered with cold. Then she came to the door of a field mouse who had a little hole amid the stubble. Where this mouse lived, warm and cozy, with a whole storeroom of grain, and a magnificent kitchen and pantry. Poor Thumbelina stood at the door just like a beggar child, and pled for a little bit of barley, because she hadn't had anything to eat for 2 days past. "Why, you poor little thing," said the field mouse, who turned out to be a kind-hearted old creature. "You must come into my warm room, and share my dinner." How so? The time passing out of nowhere, like it just moving seasons? Like that feeling? Yes. That's how I feel. Like it's like and then and out of nowhere and then you're somewhere else. It's true though. It honestly does. Like, the way it's going through my head is like how you go through a dream. That kind of feeling of just it all moving in a constant flow of continuing on and continuing on. But it's like, you're not there for all of the things in between, but somehow you know what happened. Like, I don't know. Yes. Mm-hmm. No worries, no worries. Let me see. "You must come into my warm room and share my dinner." She took such a fancy to Thumbelina that she said, "If you care to, you may stay with me all winter, but you must keep my room tidy and tell me stories, for I'm very fond of them." Thumbelina did as the kind old field mouse asked, and she had a very good time of it. "Soon we shall have a visitor," the field mouse said. "Once every week, my neighbor comes to see me, and he's even better off than I am. His rooms are large, and he wears such a beautiful black velvet coat. If you could only get him for a husband, you would be well taken care of, but he can't see anything. You must tell him the very best stories you know." Thumbelina did not like this suggestion. She would not even consider the neighbor, because he was a mole. Thumbelina, oh, I'm so sorry. He paid them a visit in his black velvet coat. The field mouse talked about how wealthy and wise he was, and how his home was more than 20 times larger than hers. But for all of his knowledge, he cared nothing at all for the sun and flowers. He had nothing good to say for them, and had never laid eyes on them. As Thumbelina had to sing for him, she sang. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I can sing that. Like, what would it be like? May. Like, I don't know. But she sang, "Maybug, Maybug, fly away home, and the monk goes afield." The mole fell in love with her sweet voice, but he didn't say anything about it yet, for he was a most discreet fellow. He had just dug a long tunnel through the ground from his house to theirs, and the field mouse and Thumbelina were invited to use it whenever they pleased, though he warned them not to be alarmed by the dead bird that lay in his passage. Yeah, that's what I have. That's what I was like, do I have to sing it? I'm like, do I? I'm like, no. I'm like, it must just be titles. Not to be alarmed by the dead bird that lay in this passage. It was a complete bird with feather and beak. It must have died quite recently when winter set in, and it was buried right in the middle of the tunnel. The mole took in his mouth a torch of decayed wood. Oh my gosh. In the darkness it glimmered like fire. He went ahead of them to light the way through the long, dark passage. When they came to where the dead bird lay, the mole put his broad nose to the ceiling and made a large hole through which daylight could fall. In the middle of the floor lay a dead swallow, with his lovely wings folded at his sides and his head tucked under his feathers. The poor bird must certainly have died of the cold. Thumbelina felt so sorry for him. She loved all the little birds who had sung and sweetly twittered to her all through the summer. But the mole gave the body a kick with his short stumps and said, "Now he won't be chirping any more. What a wretched thing it is to be born a little bird. Thank goodness none of my children can be a bird, who has nothing but his chirp chirp, and must starve to death when winter comes along."
"Yes, you are so right, you sensible man," the field mouse agreed. "What good is all his chirping to a bird in the winter time, when he starves and freezes? But that's considered very grand, I imagine."
Exactly right. Thumbelina kept silent, but when the others turned their back on the bird, she bent over, smoothed aside the feathers that hid the bird's head, and kissed his closed eyes. "Maybe it was he who sang so sweetly to me in the summertime," she thought to herself. "What pleasure he gave me, the dear, pretty bird." The mole closed up the hole that let in the daylight, and then he took the ladies home. That night, Thumbelina could not sleep a wink, so she got up and wove a fine, large coverlet out of hay. She took it to the dead bird and spread it over him, so that he would lie warm in the cold earth. She tucked him in with some soft thistledown that she had found in the field mouse's room. "Goodbye, you pretty little bird," she said. "Goodbye, and thank you for your sweet songs last summer, when the trees were all green and the sun shone so warmly upon us." She laid her head on his breast, and it startled her to feel a soft thump, as if something were beating inside. It was the bird's heart. He was not dead, he was only numb with cold, and now that he had been warmed, he came to life again. In the fall, all swallows fly off to warm countries, but if one of them starts too late, he gets so cold that he drops down as if he were dead, and lies where he fell, and the cold snow covers him. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Hi, Kaka. How are you? We're just reading Thumbelina right now. Thumbelina was so frightened that she trembled, for the bird was so big, so enormous compared to her own inch of height. But she mustered her courage, tucked the cotton wool down closer around the poor bird, brought the mint leaf that covered her own bed, and spread it over the bird's head. The following night she tiptoed out to him again. He was alive now, but so weak that he could barely open his eyes for a moment to look at Thumbelina, who stood beside him with the piece of touchwood that was her only lantern. Alright. "Thank you, pretty little child," the sick swallow said. "I have been wonderfully warmed. Soon I shall get strong once more and be able to fly again in the warm sunshine." "Oh," she said, "it's cold outside. It's snowing. It's freezing. You just stay in your warm bed and I'll nurse you." Then she brought him some water in the petal of a flower. The swallow drank and told her how he had hurt one of his wings in a thorn bush, and for that reason couldn't fly as fast as the other swallows when they flew far, far away to the warm countries. Finally he had dropped to the ground. That was all he remembered, and he had no idea how he came to be where she found him. The swallow stayed there all through the winter, and Thumbelina was kind to him and tended him with loving care. She didn't say anything about this to the field mouse or to the mole, because they did not like the poor, unfortunate swallow. As soon as spring came and the sun warmed the earth, the swallow told Thumbelina it was time to say goodbye. She reopened the hole that the mole had made in the ceiling, and the sun shone in splendor upon them. The swallow asked Thumbelina to go with him. She could sit on his back as they flew away through the green woods. That's what I think, yeah. The time is passing oddly in this, so it's very interesting. But Thumbelina knew that it would make the old field mouse feel badly if she left like that. So she said, "No, I cannot go." Fare you well, my good and pretty girl," said the swallow as he flew into the sunshine. Tears came into Thumbelina's eyes as she watched him go, for she was so fond of the poor swallow. "Chirp, chirp," sang the bird as he flew into the green woods. Thumbelina felt very downcast. She was not permitted to go out into the warm sunshine. Moreover, the grain that was sown in the field above the field mouse's house grew so tall that to a poor... Yes, exactly. Okay, but my good and pretty girl is so much more tasteful than, like, just the one each alone. You know? It's the togetherness about it. I don't know. Oh my god. Yeah, that's rough. You see what I mean? It's rough. Anyways, moreover, two wrongs make a right. I mean, in this case, yes. Moreover, the grain that was sown in the field above the field mouse's house grew so tall that to a poor little girl who was only an inch high, it was like a dense forest. "You must work on your trousseau this summer," the field mouse said, for their neighbor, that loathsome mole in his black velvet coat, had proposed to her. "You must have both woolens and linens, both bedding and wardrobe, when you become the mole's wife." Thumbelina had to turn the spindle, and the field mouse hired 4 spiders to spin and weave for her day and night. The mole came to call every evening, and his favorite remark was that the sun, which now baked the earth as hard as a rock, would not be nearly so hot when summer was over. Yes, as soon as summer was past, he would be marrying Thumbelina. But she was not at all happy about it, because she didn't like the tedious mole the least bit. Every morning at sunrise and every evening at sunset, she would steal out the door. When the breeze blew the ears of grain apart, she could catch glimpses of the blue sky. She could dream about how bright and fair it was out of doors, and how she wished she could see her dear swallow again. But he did not come back, for doubtless he was far away, flying about in the lovely green woods. When fall arrived, Thumbelina's whole trousseau was ready. "Your wedding day is 4 weeks off," the field mouse told her, but Thumbelina cried and declared that she would not have the tedious mole for a husband. I know. "Fiddlesticks," said the field mouse. "Don't you be obstinate, or I'll bite you with my white teeth. Why, you're getting a superb husband. The queen herself hasn't a black velvet coat as fine as his. Both his kitchen and his cellar are well supplied. You ought to thank goodness that you are getting him." Then came the wedding day. The mole had come to take Thumbelina home with him, where she would have to live deep underground and never go out in the warm sunshine again, because he disliked it so. The poor little girl felt very sad that she had to say goodbye to the glorious sun, which the field mouse had at least let her look out at through the doorway. Yes, it is.
Farewell, bright sun, she said. With her arms stretched toward it, she walked a little way from the field mouse's home. The grain had been harvested, and only the dry stubble was left in the field. Farewell, farewell, she cried again, and flung her little arms around a small red flower that was still in bloom. If you see my dear swallow, please give him my love. And then, I don't know how I'm going to do this chirp chirp thing. It's bothering me a little bit. It's like, chirp, 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 chirp. Like, I don't know how to read it. I'm like, chirp, 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 chirp. Okay, let's just get past that. She suddenly heard a twittering over her head. She looked up, and there was the swallow just passing by. He was so glad to see Thumbelina, although, when she told him how he hated to marry the mole and live deep underground where the sun never shone, she could not hold back her tears. Now that the cold winter is coming, the swallow told her, I shall fly far, far away to the warm countries. Won't you come along with me? You can ride on my back. Just tie yourself on with your sash, and away we'll fly, far from the ugly mole and his dark hole. Far, far away over the mountains to the warm countries where the sun shines so much fairer than here, to where it is always summer, and there are always flowers. Please fly away with me, dear little Thumbelina, you who saved my life when I lay frozen in a dark hole in the earth. It's complicated because in a moment like that, it's like, it's such a, it's a, if you're not feeling it, it's not gonna be, it's just so intense. But it's like you still are, even if you're not physically saying anything, it's like something is still being said between the two people, and it's like, conveying that is really difficult to convey. It's just such a, it's why actors are so talented. It's why actors are so talented, because it's truly talented to convey that. Let me read that. Oh, yes, that's where I am. I was like, where am I? Yes, I will go with you, said Thumbelina. She sat on his back, put her feet on his outstretched wings, and fastened her sash to one of his strongest feathers. Then the swallow soared into the air over forests and over lakes, high up over the greatest mountains that are always capped with snow. When Thumbelina felt cold on the chill air, she crept under the bird's warm feathers, with only her little head stuck out, to watch all the wonderful sights below. At length they came to the warm countries, where the sun shone far more brightly than it ever does here, and the sun seemed twice as high, and the sky seemed twice as high. Along the ditches and hedgerows grew marvelous green and blue grapes. Lemons and oranges hung in the woods. The air smelled sweetly of myrtle and thyme. By the wayside the loveliest children ran hither and thither. And thither? I forget how you say it. Is it thither or thither? Like, ugh, that one throws me off. But anyways, playing with the brightly colored butterflies. I don't remember what I said the first time. But the swallow flew on still farther, and it became more and more beautiful. Under magnificent green trees, on the shore of a blue lake, there stood an ancient palace of dazzling white marble. The lofty pillars were wreathed with vines, and at the top of them many swallows had made their nests. One nest belonged to the swallow who carried Thumbelina. This is my home, the swallow told her. If you will choose one of these glorious flowers in bloom down below, I shall place you in it, and you will have all that your heart desires. That will be lovely, she cried, and clapped her tiny hands. A great white marble pillar had fallen to the ground, where it lay in 3 broken pieces. Between these pieces grew the loveliest large white flowers. The swallow flew down with Thumbelina and put her on one of the large petals. How surprised she was to find in the center of the flower a little man, as shining and transparent as if he had been made of glass.
On his head was the daintiest of little gold crowns. On his shoulders were the brightest shining wings, and he was not a bit bigger than Thumbelina. He was the spirit of the flower. In every flower there lived a small man or woman just like him, but he was the king over all of them.
"Oh, isn't he handsome?"
Thumbelina said softly to the swallow. The king was somewhat afraid of the swallow, which seemed a very giant of a bird to anyone as small as he. But when he saw Thumbelina, he rejoiced, for she was the prettiest little girl he had ever laid eyes on. So he took off his golden crown and put it on her head. He asked if he might know her name, and he asked her to be his wife, which would make her queen over all the flowers. Here indeed was a different sort of husband from the toad's son and the mole with his black velvet coat. So she said yes to this charming king. I know, but I mean, they say girl for a young maiden. It's like maiden versus, it's like separating the married from unmarried. It's not necessary, like very rarely will I hear them say woman unless it's a, yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's that. And you know, the ideal of it was, when you think about it, the ideal was an innocent, pure side of it. It wasn't to be necessarily mature, wasn't the ideal. Even if they were mature women, it wasn't, or fully grown, it was the, I don't know. I know you're teasing. But anyways, let me see. So she said yes to this charming king. From all the flowers trooped little ladies and gentlemen, delightful to behold. Every one of them brought Thumbelina a present, but the best gift of all was a pair of wings that had belonged to a large silver fly. When these were made fast to her back, she too could flit from flower to flower. Everyone rejoiced as the swallow perched above them in his nest and sang his very best songs for them. He was sad, though, deep down in his heart, for he liked Thumbelina so much that he wanted never to part with her. "You shall no longer be called Thumbelina," the flower spirit told her. "That name is too ugly for anyone as pretty as you are. We shall call you Maya." "Goodbye, goodbye," said the swallow. He flew away again from the warm countries, back to far-away Denmark. We had a little nest over the window of the man who can tell you fairy tales. To him the birds sang, chirp, 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 chirp. And that's how we heard the whole story. There you go. The end. Okay, but her name did suck. I'm so sorry, but like... It's like, I don't know why, but when I hear Thumbelina, I'm like, index fingerina. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't know. See? I'm like, yeah. This? Well, I mean, my nails are there right now, but yes. Oof. But yeah. It's interesting. Cacao said pinky toe. That'd be horrible. But my throat hurts a little, so. Classy said that would have been better. she looked like? Oh my gosh. Now that's just cruel. What a pretty little pinky toe. Like what? Makes no sense. Oh my gosh. I don't know about that. But that's so wild. But I'm tired. I'm so sorry. Hello. We were reading a fan fiction earlier. It was My Immortal. Well, we were reading Thumbelina just now. We were reading Thumbelina, but you missed that. You missed all of it. We were reading My Immortal, the fan fiction, and then we were reading Thumbelina. So, it's been a... Yeah. It's been fun. How are you doing? Also, what do I call you? Like Louis or Louis or like how do I say it? Kind of, sometimes. Sometimes. If no one has anything to say, we kind of just read. We'll read White Fang. Louis? Or Luis. There's Luis too. There's so many. They just make fun of it on the other side of it. Oh my god, which one? You gotta be firm. You gotta make some decisions. I know that's not helpful. That's not helpful. Don't listen. Okay, I'm gonna type it out for you, and you're gonna decide. Okay, so we have Lou. Also, how are you doing today? Louis. Okay, there. Options. There you go. Okay. So, Luis. Oh my god! Did I really do 2? Oh my god! I'm so sorry. 3, okay? 3. I'm so sorry. It's been an off day today. It's been an off day. And I just hit my elbow and that hurts so bad. It's 3, okay? Forgive me. Just forget about it. Oh my god. I'm gonna have to delete it now. It's got to go. I can't delete it. Oh my god. Got it. We have some Russian fairy tales. We have Hans Christian Andersen. We have Aesop. we do have, like I said, White Fang, so Jack London. I mean, like I said, we were reading a fan fiction earlier, so if you have something to recommend, we might throw that in there if it's reasonable within reason. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, when I got in from the store and everything, Bo was wiggling like a croissant back and forth. She was like, and then like running over just like that. She's very indecisive how she wants to run. Yes. But she came up and hugged me. She came up and she was like, exactly right. But yeah, Bo's fun. Bo's fun. She's just a bit funny looking. Let me see. What else? I kind of want... These are fused together. Hi, Silas. How are you? Frog and Toad, what do you mean? Cacaw. Mm-hmm. How's school going, kiddo? Oh! Oh my gosh, yes, you're right. Oh my gosh, I should. You know what I should read? Chrysanthemum. I do now. You've told me already once or twice, but I used to read them. I also need to read Sweet Valley High, y'all. Now that is a soap opera. That literally is a soap opera. It's pretty... I think y'all would get into it, though. I think y'all might get into it. But yeah, Sweet Valley High is... From what I remember, it's ghetto. It was good. I like it. It was like my favorite series for so long. Oh. Hello. How are you doing? Let me see if I can find it anywhere. Oh, there's a show. That is not what I read the books. Oh my gosh. I know, he's so stareable. What the heck are you talking about, Pika? Can I ask why? What's real? What's real? Sorry, Kakao. Let me see though. There was one where it's so one of them. So these girls are in high school. Just bear in mind, these girls are in high school. And one of them is about one of the twin sisters getting with some older man. It's hilarious. I mean, it's not hilarious. But I know. Oh. I believe it. There's another one. It's like there's supposed to be one where it's like her on a motorcycle crash with her boyfriend. It was good. Yeah, the Wakefield twins. Oh my gosh. If I could just find them. I don't know why they were letting us read that in school. Because those were like teen books, I thought. You know, that was like in first grade. I was reading these. Oh, yeah. But one of the girls, so she has a boyfriend where he has a motorcycle. And basically their dad was all like, don't get on a motorcycle with anyone because, you know, things happen. Your aunt died, I think, that way. And so one of the girls does it anyways. And so then she's in a coma. And she can't talk. That was the last one I read, was the one where she was in a coma. And I missed out. I didn't get to see the next book. But it was good. It was good. Oh my god, there's one called Kidnapped by the Cult. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, yes. I feel like this one might make y'all cringe a little bit. Because this one, the girl they both loved, oh my god. I can see that not going well. Todd! Todd was the one who got her in the motorcycle crash, one of the sisters. I wonder if I can find like a... What's it called? Oh my goodness. Deceptions. Has Elizabeth found a new love? Oh my gosh. When love dies. These seem interesting, for sure. Say goodbye. Can Elizabeth survive the heartache of losing Todd? Goodness gracious. This is the one though. Jessica is the younger sister, I think barely. They're twin sisters, but I think... Oh my gosh. Well, to be honest, I haven't read books in a while. Here's the one though, it's called All Night Long. And it's, is Jessica as grown up as she thinks she is? And that's the one where she's with a grown man. And she's a high school girl, mind you. So she's up to no good. Jessica's getting busy with it. It's crazy. It's crazy. Let me see if I can find like a thing of it. Sweet Valley High. Darn. I wish I could find some way to read it. Like, that would be one of the things I want. The first one. I want to start with book 1 to get it started. But it's from the 80s and 90s, so it's going to be older. Oh my gosh. No. No, we're not going too crazy. Okay. Let me look. Oh my gosh. Do you want me to start that one or no? Or do you want to start it for like tomorrow? Are we feeling up to more reading or do we want to hang out? Do we want to talk? What's the goal? Okay. What do you think, Cacao? That's hilarious. Do you want more reading or no, Kuko? I'm asking everyone. So if everyone has an opinion. Okay. Okay. No one else has any opinions, then we can look at this. So, oh my god, this is already hilarious. Okay.
Oh, Lizzie, do you believe how absolutely horrendous I look today? Jessica Wakefield groaned as she stepped in front of her sister Elizabeth.
Okay, no worries, no worries.
In front of her sister Elizabeth and stared at herself in the bedroom mirror. I'm so gross. Just look at me. Everything is totally wrong. To begin with, I'm disgustingly fat. With that, she spun around to show off a stunning figure without an extra ounce visible anywhere. She moaned again, this time holding out one perfectly shaped bronze leg.
Oh my god.
One perfectly shaped bronze leg. Isn't that the grossest? I swear I must have the skinniest legs in America, and the bumpiest knees. What am I going to do? How can I possibly go to school looking like this today? Today, of all days! Jessica stared at herself in the full-length mirror and saw a picture of utter heartbreak and despair. But what was actually reflected in the glass was about the most adorable, most dazzling 16-year-old girl imaginable. Yet, there was no stopping Jessica Wakefield when she was in the mood. Why couldn't I have at least had an oval face? It looks like someone stuck a pumpkin on top of my neck. And this hair, a dull yellow mess of split ends. I hate it. In a gesture of absolute hopelessness, she ran her hand under her silky blonde hair, flipped it up.
Ah! That's crazy. Did you see what Kaka sent? That's crazy. That's yep.
Okay. In a gesture of absolute hopelessness, she ran her hand under her silky blonde hair, flipped it up, and watched as it drifted lightly back to her shoulders. Only thing duller are my eyes. Look at that color, Liz. She poked her face an inch from her sister's nose and fluttered long eyelashes over almond-shaped eyes of
the blue-green of the Caribbean.
They're so blah.
Oh my god. Without waiting for Elizabeth's response, Jessica reached again into her bag of sorrows.
I mean, there could be a telethon just for all the things that are wrong with me. I can't even look at myself another minute.
And with that, she threw herself face down on her sister's freshly made bed. Thanks a million, Elizabeth said in mock anger.
I wasn't talking about you, came Jessica's pillow-muffled voice.
Oh no? All you said was that you're the grossest looking person in all of Sweet Valley, your figure's terrible, your legs are chopsticks, your knees are bony, and on top of that your face is all wrong, right?
Right. And I just happen to be your identical twin sister. So what does that make me, Miss America?
Elizabeth asked, deciding to take a good look in the mirror. If Jessica were such a hopeless case, she might be in trouble, too. But the image she saw reflected in the mirror was hardly cause for alarm. Both girls had the same shoulder-length, sun-streaked blonde hair, the same sparkling blue-green eyes, the same perfect skin. Even the tiny dimple in Elizabeth's left cheek was duplicated in her younger sister's, younger by 4 minutes. Both girls were 5'6" on the button, and generously blessed with spectacular, all-American good looks. Oh my god. Both wore exactly the same size clothes, but they refused to dress alike, except for the exquisite, identical lavaliers, I hope that's how you say that, had been presents from their parents on their 16th birthday. The only way you could tell them apart was by the tiny beauty mark on Elizabeth's right shoulder. Their friends might notice that Elizabeth wore a watch and Jessica did not. Time was never a problem for Jessica. She always felt that things didn't really start until she got there. And if she was late, let 'em wait. Exactly. Otherwise, there was virtually no way to distinguish them between the beautiful Wakefield twins. But beneath the skin, there was a world of difference. A wicked gleam of mischief lurked in the aquamarine depths of Jessica's eyes, while Elizabeth's reflected only sincerity. When the phone in the hallway shrilled, Jessica leaped to answer it, assuming, of course, that it was for her. Oh my gosh. Jessica? Liz? A boy's voice asked.
Jessica, of course! And who's this? She demanded.
Oh, hi, Jessica. This is Todd. Todd Wilkins? Is Liz home? He wanted her sister. Jessica's eyes narrowed dangerously. One of the cutest boys at Sweet Valley High. And he was calling to talk to Elizabeth. Todd Wilkins was currently the basketball team's hottest star. And Jessica had been admiring him for some time now as she practiced her cheers in the gym alongside him. The idea that he would prefer Elizabeth to her infuriated Jessica, though she was extra careful to conceal this from her.
Todd, she purred, I should have known it was you just from your voice. I'm so glad you called, you know. I've been meaning to talk to you. That was an absolutely fantastic drive shot you made during practice today. I was really impressed. Oh, gee, Jessica, thanks. She could almost hear Todd blushing. Yep.
Exactly. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's a whole crazy thing. I have not read this in so long and I'm so ashamed of myself. But this is hilarious. I didn't know you were watching.
I always make it a point to watch the best players. And the best looking players, she added silently. You know, you could probably play professionally one of these days if you really wanted to, Todd. Jessica heaped on the flattery, hoping it would distract him from the real purpose of his call.
Sorry, Kaka. Okay, hold on. But Todd hadn't forgotten. That's really nice of you to say so, but it's probably too soon to tell. He paused. Listen, Jessica, it's been nice talking to you, but is Liz around? No, he is not. I liked Todd. I always liked Todd, but like, this is hilarious. Oh my gosh. This is so long ago. It's making so many memories. But is Liz around? Jessica frowned.
I think she's in the shower.
I could wait, Todd said hopefully.
Oh, you wouldn't want to do that. Liz stays in the shower practically forever.
Maybe I should try calling back in a few minutes.
His disappointment was evident.
You could, but she probably won't be here.
We've got to run or we'll be late for school. This is the big day. They're announcing the Pi Beta pledges. Liz and I would just die if we don't get in.
I'm sure you won't have any trouble, said Todd. But good luck anyway.
Jessica experienced a slight twinge of guilt about sidetracking Todd, but she quickly brushed it away, telling herself she really hadn't done any harm. It was as if he were Elizabeth's boyfriend. She probably didn't even know he existed. Jessica couldn't have been more mistaken. Just as she was hanging up, Elizabeth poked her head around the doorway.
Who was that? She asked. I know. Jessica's a punk. Okay.
Who was that? She asked. Oh, just Todd Wilkins, Jessica replied, flashing her sister a brilliant smile to cover up the deception. He called to wish me good luck with Pi Beta today. Wasn't that sweet of him?
Oh my god. This is vicious. Oh my god, I didn't remember how evil she was. Oh my gosh. Good lord, girl. Y'all look the same. Get over it. Oh my god. Okay.
Elizabeth's heart sank, but she didn't let Jessica see her disappointment.
There's more. We just have to get there.
But she didn't let Jessica see her disappointment. She'd been hoping Todd would call her. The other day, she caught him glancing at her in the cafeteria line. She'd turned around and there he was. Tall, lean, his gorgeous brown eyes looking straight at her. She'd quickly glanced down at her tray, a blush coloring her cheeks. Had Todd realized how much she liked him? He sat near her in Mr. Russo's science class. And though she'd never spoken to him, she'd always been aware of his compelling presence.
Oh my god.
In the cafeteria, she had cast another glance over her shoulder. As their eyes met again, they both smiled. Elizabeth felt as if she'd been jolted by 1,000 watts of electricity.
This is rough.
He was waiting for her after school that day.
Oh my god.
He was waiting for her after school that day. As she caught sight of him, leaning against the front railing, his sky blue shirt open at the throat to reveal a glimpse of tanned, muscular chest.
Elizabeth's pulse took off to a gallop. What was I reading in first grade? Oh, first grade was... No, my god. What was I reading? Yes, I'm not kidding. It was first grade. my god. Okay, okay. Oh, okay. Oh. Okay, okay, okay. As he caught sight of her, a slow, shy smile spread across his features. He was nervous too, she realized. Oh my lord. Hey Liz, I was wondering if you had today's chem assignment. I forgot to copy it down. Chemistry assignment? Elizabeth couldn't tear her eyes off that blinding white smile. Sure, I think I have it somewhere. Frantically, she began juggling books, searching for the assignment she'd scribbled hastily on a sheet of loose leaf paper. Are you always this organized? Todd teased, his coffee-colored eyes dancing. Coffee-colored eyes dancing is such a crazy... Oh my god, I'm loving this. So many memories. They're moonwalking. Doing a pirouette. Breakdancing. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Okay, okay. My mouth is so dry from all the talking and laughing. Only when it comes to chemistry, she laughed, thinking of the special chemistry between Todd and her and hoping he would notice how nervous he made her. She walked away from Todd that day, feeling as if she were floating 2 feet off the pavement. Now, discovering that Todd had preferred Jessica all along, Elizabeth felt as if she'd been grounded by a 500-pound weight. Not wanting to reveal her true feelings about Todd, she quickly changed the subject. No. Hold on. Yeah, Jessica's the baby. Elizabeth is the older one. So, Elizabeth is talking to him right now. I know, but she basically implied they were flirting on the phone. And about the whole, he wished me luck, all that. Okay. Jessica is the baby. Elizabeth is the older one. Jessica's the one who answered the phone and was being a punk because she was jealous her sister was liked. Because Elizabeth, the older one, by 4 minutes, is like the smart, mild one compared between them. So, Jessica's the little rat who's out to get her. But anyways, let me see. Not wanting to reveal her true feelings about Todd, she quickly changed the subject. Speaking of Pi Beta, she said, have you decided what you're going to wear today? At noon. Huh? Are we on to a new chapter? I wonder when the chapters end. Oh, 2's coming up. Okay. At noon, the Wakefield twins would find out if they had made Pi Beta Alpha, the positively best sorority at Sweet Valley High, according to Jessica. That meant the snobbiest in Elizabeth's book. Where? Squealed Jessica, her thoughts immediately switching from Todd back to the subject of her hideous appearance. I have nothing, absolutely nothing to wear. This sounds like a job for my new tuxedo shirt, Elizabeth offered. She'd thought about wearing it herself, hoping to impress Todd when she saw him, but suddenly it didn't seem to matter. Nothing will help, Jessica moaned. Elizabeth shrugged. Well, it was just a thought. She had began collecting the books she'd need for school. But it's a beginning, Jessica said quickly. Could I wear the pants too? I think I've been had. And little bow tie? On one condition, Elizabeth said. I want the whole outfit back, clean, and hanging in my closet by the weekend. On my honor. Elizabeth groaned. I'm doomed. Elizabeth Wakefield, you're the best. Jessica headed for Elizabeth's closet. At least now I won't have to look totally gross on the most important day of my life. Come on, Jess, Elizabeth argued. Getting into Pi Beta isn't that big of a deal. In fact, I'm beginning to wonder if I ever should have let you talk me into pledging. How can you say that? Jessica shrieked. You know how important a sorority is, especially this one. All the top people are in it. You mean the snootiest. It was an echo of the argument they'd had 2 weeks earlier when Jessica had pleaded with her sister to pledge. Eventually, Elizabeth had given in, mostly because she and Jessica always did things together, and she didn't want anything as dumb as a sorority to come between them. Jessica had assured Elizabeth that the pledge dares they'd be required to do would be nothing major. Just a lot of silly fun, she insisted. Fun? Their first dare had been to order a pepperoni pizza from Guido's Pizza Palace to be delivered during Mr. Russo's chemistry class. I'll die, Elizabeth had protested. Just the thought of Mr. Russo's reaction petrified her. I know. Ugh. Just the thought of Mr. Russo's reaction petrified her. Bob Russo was the most brilliant and demanding teacher at Sweet Valley. He was highly temperamental, with a biting sense of humor. You never knew when he would cut you down or stare you into a tiny shrinking smudge for saying something stupid. Every kid at school was terrified of him, and now they were going to have a pizza. It'll be a scream, Jessica had said. It had been a scream, all right. A delivery man wearing stereo headphones and a tomato-stained apron had walked right into the classroom carrying a humongous, steaming, smelly pepperoni pizza, and stood there looking questioningly as Mr. Russo was writing a complicated formula on the blackboard. Yes? Your pizza, the delivery man had asked? And the class had gone into a collective cardiac arrest. Somebody snorted, trying to stifle a laugh. Somebody else giggled. Elizabeth's face turned the color of the tomato stains on the delivery man's apron. Pardon me? Mr. Russo asked innocently, still preoccupied with the lesson. Oh my gosh. That did it. The entire class cracked up and howled with laughter. One double pepperoni pizza for the delivery man examined his order form. Elizabeth Wakefield. Oh my God, no! Elizabeth's face was on fire. Everybody looked around at her in disbelief. Elizabeth Wakefield, the level-headed, serious twin, had flipped out. Only Elizabeth knew who had really ordered the pizza and given her name. Well, said Mr. Russo. Elizabeth, is this by any chance a science project? More laughter from the kids. Elizabeth panicked. What will I say? Shooting a glance at Jessica, she knew instantly she was on her own. Her twin wore the angelic expression of a totally innocent bystander. Yes, sir, Elizabeth stammered, groping for a way out. See, we were wondering how much the heat the pizza would lose getting from the pizza parlor to here, and, even Mr. Russo had to smile. He rummaged through a desk drawer and produced a thermometer. I see, he said. Well then, let's take the pizza's temperature before it undergoes a chemical change, commonly called digestion. So they had gotten away with that pledge dare. They'd survived the other crazy pranks too. Second on dome, Mr. Cooper, Sweet Valley High's somewhat stuffy principal. Finally, they'd grossed out the entire cafeteria by dyeing the mashed potatoes purple. Oh my gosh. Sorry about that. Okay. And now, do you want me to wait? Sorry, I realized I should probably wait. I'll wait. Mm-hmm. Fangs. It's crazy.
Ooh, so this is love. So this is what makes life divine. I'm all aglow.
All right. Okay. So, finally, they'd grossed out the entire cafeteria by dyeing the mashed potatoes purple. Have you not had purple potatoes before? Because my mom got them before and made us eat them. It was disgusting, don't get me wrong. But the purposefully dyeing them is interesting. And now, the big day had arrived. At noon, they would find out if they were in Pi Beta. Elizabeth wasn't too excited about it, but Jessica had the date circled in red on her calendar. Nothing could spoil this day for her, except, of course, not getting into the sorority, which wasn't a likely possibility. For Elizabeth, the day was already spoiled. As she thought of Todd's phone call to Jessica, the tight feeling in her chest spread to a pressure behind her eyes, as she was determined not to let Jessica know how she felt about Todd. What was the point? It was obvious which sister Todd preferred, and why not? What girl could possibly compete with the dazzling Jessica Wakefield? There you go, that's chapter 1. Chapter 1. Also, this book is so much more wild than I remember. It's hilarious. Okay. Remember, it's the 80s books, too. It's the 80s books. Yeah. 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 No, I can't do chapter 2. That's the one. Dangerous. Are Elizabeth and Todd heading for disaster? That's hilarious. Oh, and there's Wrong Kind of Girl. That one is... That one reminds me of... Never mind. They are kind of, like, I mean, there's some where it's talking about other girls, but it's like... And guys and stuff, but it's like, I don't know. I don't remember for sure. But yeah, no, it's like a soap opera a little bit. Oh yeah, I never watched the TV show. But also Todd is not that fabulous looking. Oh, the Todds they pick. Ugh, gross. Gross. Ugh. Ugh, ew. I mean, this Bruce guy's okay. Hold on, let me look. Ew. Oh my god, ew. Oh my god, ew. Ew. Ugh. Ew. I'm so sorry, but oh my god. No. Nope. Nope. I'm good. Thank you. Whoa. What are you looking at? This is not the books. I don't think you're looking at the right thing. I'll send it to you. Because you got that wrong. Alright, let me. Oh, thank you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I honestly might get off at 2. I'm so tired. All that reading is and all the thinking. And the memories and cringing at myself. I'm really heavily cringing at myself. It's pretty bad. I'm like, what was I reading? What was going through my head at that time? It was funny though. It was funny because I went to my teacher on it. Yes, I comprehended it. I just didn't. I did, but looking back, I'm like, I knew what I was reading, but I didn't know what I was reading. You know, does that make sense? Yeah. Let me get a hat. Did you want any specific one? I just realized. There are options. But if not, I will just grab something. There you go. This? This one or no? Okay. But yeah, no, the book looks totally different from what you looked at. That's ugly. I'm so sorry, but like that's ugly. Also, I remember reading, what's it called? Goosebumps. Read a lot of Goosebumps. Oh my god, why are they making such ugly ones now? Also, Magic Tree House. Do you know Magic Tree House by any chance? That's such a shame. It's a good one, I think. So Magic Tree House is like these two siblings, brother and sister. And what they do is they go to this tree house, and I don't remember it exactly, but basically they can open a book in there and go inside the book and go live it through history and the story. And so there's all kinds of them. There's ones where they go to Japan and like are dealing with like real what's it called? Not samurais. What is it called? Something else. Thank you, puzzle. But there's this one where it was like talking and at the end of the book they have a bunch of fun facts at the end of it too. Like for example, there was this one talking about like I think it was like mermaids and stuff like that. And it was talking about how like at the end of it, fun facts about it. They were talking about how the manatee was probably what a mermaid actually was based on, and how sailors probably saw it and thought it was just a really ugly woman underwater because they couldn't see it clearly. And so they were like, oh, it's they let it get ruined through storytelling, and you know, I mean, you couldn't it's goofy. And then they talk about the fake one that someone assembled with a person and that fish, and how they tried to make it pretend it was a actual, you know, mermaid. It's a whole thing. Yes. So, it's that whole thing. I don't know. They have a bunch of fun facts that. Oh my gosh. They kind of do. Oh, like I've said, Series of Unfortunate Events. I read that a bunch. I read that series like twice or 3 times. I didn't read the movie. I didn't know there was a movie. Oh, you're talking about Series of Unfortunate Events. I'm so sorry. I like Jim Carrey's interpretation of it. I think his interpretation was really good, knowing the character in the book series. But there's definitely stuff they missed. There's a lot of stuff they missed that you just have to read all the books for. The series was starting to get stuff down, but even then they missed stuff. It wasn't the same. It was good, no, and if Jim Carrey had been in it, I would have loved it more, but, you know, it's just, ugh. It's alright. But it's a great book series. And the artwork always was so captivating. I don't know. I loved it so much. It was so odd. Exactly. But I really liked the narrator. What's his name? But he did a really great job. Was that who it was? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, that makes so much more sense. I knew who it was. And I was like, how do I know this person? Jude Law is cool. I like him in AI. Have you ever watched that? Such a good movie. I need to watch that. No, I did. I cried when I saw it. I cried. No. No, I cried watching that. It was so sad. Oh my gosh, it messed me up so bad. I know. Just watch the rest of it, not the ending. But that kid was always in like the craziest movies, like Secondhand Lions. Oh my gosh. I love Secondhand Lions. I just watched that the other day with my grandmother. And I called it something else. Really dumb. But I don't remember what, but it was funny. She was like, "What show are you talking about?" I was like, "This one." She's like, "It's called Secondhand Lions." And I was like, "Oh." I don't know, but I messed it up. Oh. Since it's 2, I'll probably get off. But since nobody's here, I don't think that dude really left to go let out his dogs. I think he left. But it's alright. I don't blame him. But I'll probably be getting off for tonight. And then I will be on tomorrow. Yes, that's the goal. If anything happens, though, y'all will know. So have a good night, Kaka. Good night, y'all. Oh, no. I'm so sorry. Is there someone you want to raid? Okay. If not, I'll look too, so. I see Donyeon too. Oof. Let me see. Oof. We could do Donyeon too. We could do her. Alright, bye y'all. Just hold on. I'm still here, but like, you know.